are y'all doing up there? You couldn't have used the road, man? Like, what do you got in stock for me, man? Oh. Can't even trade with you right now, man. Gonna need you to come down here. Or I'll come up to you. That's a lot of mini blocks. Oh. Oh. Oh, finally. Finally got mangrove. I just need to find some emeralds. I need 5 emeralds. Alright, so we rummaged through the sofa and we did find ourselves some emeralds. Only got 5 right now. Had to trade some sticks to get them. But there we have it. A mangrove propagule. I've been looking for this wood type for literally months since I've had this world. I've been hoping for a wandering trader to kind of come bring one. But, you know, he just never did. I think that's one of the last wood types that I need. I'm pretty sure I have everything else. So this should be good. But I'm not really sure one propagule is enough. So let me see if I can find any more emeralds. And we'll see if we can gather a second one. Oh, there you go. Got some emeralds. Just hiding in the spot that I was in. I didn't have to go back to my original base just to find some emeralds. But here we have it. A second mangrove propagule. And then I guess I'll get a sea pickle as well. I do have one, but just in case I lose it somehow, we'll have a second one, a spare one. I definitely will need to get some more emeralds. Sir, you've done me a great service. So because of that, I'm gonna let you live today. So in between episodes, I've actually been starting to work on my storage area. And here we have it. I decided to keep it pretty plain instead of over decorating it. So this is supposed to be the old Dwarven mine, like historically and lore wise. And I just wanted to keep it pretty simple. So just off to the sides, we have little storage areas. Honestly, this is pretty much overkill for the amount of storage I actually use, but this is supposed to be the bulk stone area. So we're just going to be, you know, storing all of our bulk stone here. But we've got cobblestone, stone, and then the various stone types, just because I don't think I'll actually need that many boxes for each one. But I'm basically assigning 2 boxes per, so 2 boxes for granite, 2 boxes for dripstone, some diorite, andesite, and tuff. And then this one, I actually don't have anything because I can't really think of anything. And then on this side, we have the nether stones and deep slate. And then this one, I don't have anything yet, but I could probably store some ores and stuff like that in the meantime. Right now, I'm storing the ores in these little barrels. I'm still using little barrels as storage at the moment. But I've been slowly trying to move all my stuff into the actual chests. Obviously, I'm still using these barrels as temporary storage for a lot of other things. So in the last episode, we built this dwarven quarry area, and this is where the dwarves gather their stone, their bulk stone. But in today's episode, we're going to be working on this area. So right now we've got this elevator shaft kind of going down towards the cave down there. And in this cave, we're going to be having the Dwarven Mines. So right now we have little spots right here for the elevator to actually drop down in. So this one's supposed to drop down towards deep slate area. Not at the moment, but it will be. This one will drop towards gold. This one will drop towards the bottom of the cave, or midpoint of the cave, and then this one's going to drop down towards the iron level of the cave. So I've been kind of brainstorming how I can kind of have a purpose for the Dwarven Mines aside from actually gathering a lot of my stone and my ores from. And I decided that I'm going to try to have a trading hall down at the bottom of the Dwarven Mines here. So we're just going to drop down, take a peek. I've already started to mine downwards towards the bottom of the cave. I still have to mine all the way down. It's a little janky at the moment. But here we'll have the Dwarven Mine. And so it's pretty large. Oh, clearly I still need to light this up. I wanna die here, so I die more than enough. The little particles here are the mod cave dust, and it kind of just adds a little ambience to the underground caves. But down here we'll have the Dwarven Mines, and we're gonna have the iron level So iron level is about, the best level in mine iron is 13, I think. So I think we'll have kind of an iron mine right down this way. So it'll be just kind of a mine shaft going down towards this way. But in order to come back here, I kind of wanted to have kind of like walkways all throughout this little cave right here, just to add points of interest. And then with those points of interest, I want to add a little house, a little building, kind of stuck on that wall right there, hanging off the wall. And I think that'll fit the underground dwarven vibes really well. Kind of like a little mining shack where the dwarves would kind of go and chill when they don't want to go all the way back up to the surface yet. But in that dwarven shack, I'm thinking I want to have a bunch of stonemasons in there. Stonemasons that I can trade a bunch of emeralds with, and then get a bunch of stone types. Particularly bricks, but that would be kind of sweet. It kind of adds some lore elements and also add a lot of purpose to actually coming down there, aside from just coming down for the mines. And then this, I'll have kelp kind of going up here so that I'll actually kelp and soul sand to actually boost myself up quickly instead of swimming up there. But yeah, I've also gathered some villagers here, and I'm starting to breed them up in anticipation for the trading hall. Well, well. Looks like we got a slime chunk down there. I think this is probably a pretty easy way to gather a little bit of slime right here, so let's go kill this thing. Gotta make sure there's no other mobs in the area, since I still need to light up this cave. Oh, I probably should have eaten and healed before I started trying to attack the slime. I should probably run away. Well, I'm a little speechless right now. I just got killed by a slime. And I say this all the time, but you know, that's why I don't do hardcore. Because I die very stupidly to a lot of things. Honestly, I just need armor in general. Right now, I've kind of been going plain clothes, just so I can see my skin, but there is a mod that kind of lets you hide your armor. I probably will do that. But anyways, before we get too deep into the project, it's time to gather some resources. I actually have to travel a few thousand blocks, or maybe a few hundred blocks, to grab some kelp for this little bubble elevator, and a bunch of other stuff. So, montage time. Let's get it. We gathered quite some resources. So we gathered a lot of wood and all that. But we also traveled a few 100,000 blocks, or not 100,000. Let's see how far this was. 3,300. Wait, no. It's negative 6,000 to negative 3,000. I had to travel 3,000 blocks just to get some kelp. I tried to gather as much as I could, but I kind of ran out of inventory space. And I also found a treasure map and got a Heart of the Sea, so that was nice. Golden apple and some turtle eggs. The turtle eggs are great for decorating, so I'm excited to try to hatch some of those and start a little area where I can farm some of them so I can use them for interior decorations. Given that this is large biomes, I kind of have to grab certain items when I'm in the biome so that I don't have to travel those thousands of blocks again, all over again. So I got really lucky with that mangrove prop deal earlier with that wandering trader, because I think the mangrove biome is super far away. It's like not even 3,000. I think it's like 6,000, 7,000. So honestly, that's one of the other things I need to work on soon. I've almost had this world for like a year. Not even a year yet. It's like been 7-8 months. But I haven't gotten a elytra yet. But for the most part, I kind of want to have, you know, donkeys and horses as the main mode of transportation. But certain things like, you know, going thousands of blocks just to grab some resources, I want to use an elytra just to speed it up a little bit. Back to the project on hand. So we're gonna grab a few stacks of stone here, because I don't think I need granite. I probably do need some andesite, so I'll take a little bit of andesite and some tuff. I think that'll be fine. So So for the next part of the project, we're gonna do a little bit of terraforming. I really need to bring this all the way down towards the bottom of the cave. I'm not sure why I stopped it at that particular spot, because then I have to transfer elevator lines. But yeah, here we are with the little mine shaft. Just gotta light it up a little bit. Now for the actual build, I do want to keep it kind of dark for the ambience. But for the meantime, just for my survival, we're gonna light it up. So this wall right here is where we're gonna have kind of this hanging building, kind of hanging off the wall here. But in order to make it a little more realistic and a little nicer, we're gonna have a little cliffside going up a little halfway through so that it's kind of supported on the cliffside instead of just hanging, you know, in midair on that wall. The idea was that kind of they're embedding themselves into the stone, and then outside of the stone, outside of the cave wall, there's kind of a front facade. But I do want to have it, you know, kind of hanging off a cliff instead. I think that makes a little more sense. It also makes it a little easier for me to actually be able to get up there. But before we start on the cliffside, actually, I think we're going to start on the actual little mine right here, so that I can kind of set the ambience a little bit more on the bottom of the floor. And then we'll move on towards the cliff and then towards the trading hall. All right, so to start off, we're going to have the iron section of the mine. So this will be iron level, and it'll be I think it's Y12 or Y13. We'll put Y12 for now. But so since I'm not gonna, I don't think I'm gonna access this level too crazy, so I'm okay kind of having to squeeze through that little drill part right there. And I've already got a full inventory because I brought a ton of stuff with me down here just to see what we got. All right, so Y12 is quite a far ways down. All right, here we are. I guess that would have been, we should have done Y14. I'm just gonna fill this in later. But this is the elevator shaft coming downwards, so that would be where we fall, and then we'd be able to walk right out in towards the little iron level right here. And I do want to keep all of this stuff right here where I have. So let's figure out a way to store it all. All right, so we cleared out the water to have kind of an easier environment to work in. But I'm thinking we're gonna be having the mine entrance right around here. And in order to do that, we're gonna start filling in this spot right here just to make things a little easier. Working on the flat surface would be a little better. Some people have been telling me that I should try to start incorporating some real-time building. And I think I'm gonna take you up on that. The only thing is I do plan most of my builds in Litematica just because it helps make things a lot easier. And you know, since I'm kind of busy in real life a lot of times, planning in Litematica where I'm not recording, it just makes the video making process much faster. So that's one of the reasons why I, you know, do these time lapses instead normally, instead of actually incorporating a lot of the real-time building, is because it helps facilitate kind of making the videos a lot faster. You know, when I watch Minecraft videos, I do like watching people build as well, so in real time. So I understand. We're gonna do a 2-wide entrance, and then we'll have it 4 blocks high. Just a kind of a typical mineshaft entrance trapdoor. There you go. A little wonky, a little janky. Maybe another one right here. So now we got this little curvature that makes it look a little more janky. And then we'll be mining out the center here. And this is where we'll actually go mine for our iron. And then I want this spot to kind of look like it's actually, you know, being mined and cobbled. So we're gonna have these little cobblestone piles just sticking outwards. And that'll kind of help sell the idea that they're kind of mining and just throwing the rocks over here. And then the rocks are also kind of supporting the pillars themselves. And there you go, you got a little mine entrance just like that. And then obviously you would kind of, or I guess you could drop it down a little bit so that you don't have to mine that high. I think natural motion for mining is like 3 blocks at least. Normally 2 blocks, but 4 is already kind of cutting it. There you go. So I think we're just gonna work on this general area. These bats are so loud right now. Like, please leave me alone. I know it's dark, but I don't know why they're kind of conglomerating around me. Are they supposed to do that? I guess they are. But anyways, I'm gonna work on this general area and then we'll come back. I've been looking at my little mining elevator here, and man, it's very patchy, very janky. I'm gonna have to come fill in these spots so the water elevators can actually work, or also the descent coming down. Because I've noticed when I come down the elevators, I sometimes clip a block and then I just die. So I need to fill in these just to make the elevator a little more functional. Obviously, it would have been nice if I could just knock it all out, but then the little water elevator here wouldn't work. But anyways, here is our little mining area for our iron. So this is the iron level that we will be mining from. I haven't actually found any iron. I mean, obviously I haven't gone too deep in there, but yeah, I haven't really found anything. Honestly, I'm not even sure if this is like the greatest level for mining iron. I'm pretty sure like Y level 13 is pretty good for iron. With the new changes, it's kind of a little confusing right now, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, we got a little stack of iron ore right there, and then kind of some blocks of iron right here. Little storage spot for them to kind of throw things together, and then a little trolley area, or a little minecart area to kind of run through there. And then actually coming into the mine, we've got a little spot right here. We'll kind of have the dwarves come here and they'll grab a lantern, grab some lights in here, and then grab some pickaxes for them to go mine down in this cave here. Now for this actual area, I'm not going to like add these supports all the way through because that would be very tedious. Coming here mostly is going to be, you know, mine stone and all that. Clearly I found copper. Maybe it's a copper mine instead. But I'm not going to decorate it all the way through. It's just kind of here. Just this little segment right here is just to kind of add to a little bit to the immersion. Once I get past the support beam, it's just going to be non-decorated. And it's just going to be straight zoom in. And we did add a little bit of lamp here to add to the lighting. I am going to... Oh boy. I do want to make it very dark in here though. So unfortunately there's skeletons and creepers and all that, which I really don't want to deal with. But you know, throwing these torches right here breaks the immersion, man. I think what I will do is I'll probably add some dripstone kind of surrounding the area. That way it's not spawn proof, but they can't get to me because I think they'll get, I do believe a lot of mobs get stuck like spinning on these dripstone, and then they also get stopped. It's kind of a natural barrier. So if anything, I'll add a dripstone wall kind of surrounding the area. For the next order of business, we're going to be working on our little trading hall right here. That's going to be hanging off this wall, but I don't want it to kind of be actually hanging on the wall, so I want to add a little cliffside right from the bottom to the top to the about to the midpoint right there. The idea right now is that the dwarves kind of build into the wall, like kind of recess into the wall, but then there'd be kind of a facade hanging right outside the wall itself as well. But I think it makes a little more sense for it to also be supported a little bit by a cliffside. So we're going to make a little cliff right here. Since it's just a little bit of terraforming, I think I'm just going to do a little time lapse right here. You know, it's not a crazy cliff, but you know, it's not supposed to be a crazy build either. Or I mean, I guess it's kind of big because it's going to be kind of stretching this area towards that area as well. Normally I'd go for kind of a gradient for cliffs and stuff like that, but for this instance, I think it works better to just kind of have it patchy with a bunch of different items, just to add a little bit of texture, just to differentiate it from the actual surrounding, but also make it not stand out too much. If I did a gradient, it would stand out pretty. So this is the cliff that we're working with, and you can see the iron mine is right down there. The only thing is we need a little way to actually get down. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna bridge ourselves over there, and then we're gonna wind it towards the elevator, the little mining elevator, and we'll have a kind of a janky little pathway on like wooden stilts kind of walking through there, and then that way we can kind of get to this actual site. So for the Dwarven Mines, I want it to be pretty chaotic, and so we're gonna bridge ourselves towards that cliff. We have a little spot for the elevator to actually get to the trading hall, so we're gonna grab some materials and we're gonna bridge across. But this is what we're kind of talking about immersion wise. We've got kind of these support pillars that are kind of spread all throughout that you might see in, you know, typical Dwarven mines. But we've got some support pillars. This spot would be like, you know, a spot where they might have another minecart right there. And then I do want to have these moving parts. I want to have minecarts kind of just moving back and forth between the rails. Fortunately, I ran out of the detector rails because I don't have enough gold. So I will have to go look for some gold and, you know, get that all done. But in the meantime, I think this will suffice. For the most part, I wanted the bridge to look kind of janky, so we've got a very, you know, thin parts right here. It's just a bunch of slabs, and then also the trapdoors. Now it is kind of dark, so we will turn on the full bright once again, so this will be the main kind of trading hall area. So I'll be able to come here, go through, and then we'll have kind of rows of these stonemasons just in the area to trade with. But that's all of the environmental builds at the moment. So I think now we're gonna finally work on the main building of this episode, the little stonemason trading hall. Well, there it is. The build is done, and oh boy, is it immersive. So just imagine you're kind of a dwarf coming down this elevator, and then bam, you're like coming into work, look up to the left, and you see the Dwarven shack just chilling. I do need to take down these little these little torches, kind of break away the brightness of this build area. I do want to see what it looks like in shaders, so let's pop those on right quick. Bam! Would you look at that? That is awesome. Should I play with shaders on? I don't know, man. I think it does kind of isolate some people from the game, because most people, I feel like, play on regular non-shaders. I know some people can't run them either. Are those lanterns moving? Oh, that is sick. See, it's little things like this that I wish Mojang would do. So these shaders looks like they're making the lanterns kind of sway a little bit. There you go. Let's pop that. Yeah, see? Those little small minor details really add a lot to the ambience in this area. But anyways, let's just go up and look at the build. Still need to add the soul sand down there and the kelp that I'm using. I don't have any soul sand because I can't really find them in the spot. I don't know why I went all the way up here. But this one's going down to the spot where I'll be trading my villagers. So there you go, bam bam. Looking snazzy. And then, so there's this little minecart here where you just click the button and then you start moving towards the build. The rail is not fully done because, as you can see underneath that one just now, there is no activated rails. So, unfortunately, going to there will be fine, but going back towards the elevator is not fully functioning. But here we've got the build. It's looking pretty snazzy. We're using a lot of the colors that I've been using in the Dwarven style build. So a lot of, you know, medieval diesel punk-ish vibe. This one's not really diesel punk at all. But for the dwarves, I'm trying to use a lot of blacks, grays, and browns. So using all three of the stone types there to cover all my bases for this build. But it's looking pretty good. So like I said, the cliffside is not, you know, doesn't stand out too much, so that's good. So it does kind of blend in with the environments. But we added these campfires to add a little detail to the build, because when you're kind of working on this small scale, it's kind of hard to build and make it look nice. So adding these small little details, these little blocks that have a little more detail in them, to kind of makes it look a little better. And then obviously the glow lichen helps with the material as well. Coming in, the interior is very basic. I don't think I'm going to make it too crazy. I'd like my builds to be aesthetically pleasing, but also have functionality. And this one has functionality. The exterior has some aesthetics, but the interior, I'm not really sure I'm going to really spend too much time decorating. It's going to be pretty simple. But then I've already have some little villagers in here. So I actually had to re-record this segment because my mic was being all weird. But I did record already when this was empty, and then I started transferring villagers, but I'm just gonna throw away that footage because the mic was not working at all. But one thing I wanted to mention is I did add a mod simply to move these villagers. And I know it's kind of cheaty, but I'm starting a new job, and doing this kind of helps me save time and lets me do the things that I want to do in this world. Not have to do the chore of kind of moving the villagers back and forth. Obviously, I still need to move some villagers in, but the mod is called, I think, pickup or something along those lines. So basically, if you have both free hands, you can kind of crouch and then click, and then you can grab onto them. And from this angle, those look like dwarves to me. They're pretty tiny, right? Obviously, when you set it down, though, you know, they're gonna grow in size. But I think it's pretty decently balanced because, like, it slows you down a lot. So I'm okay with doing that. I'm only going to use this mod to, you know, move the villagers. But I think another neat thing that you can do, I think things like this, so like a barrel, you can actually crouch and pick it up and then set it down, and it has the same contents. I don't know. Maybe that's a little too cheaty. Let me know if you think that's too cheaty as well. But I am going to use it for the meantime just to transport these villagers, just because it saves me so much time and helps the video making process go a lot smoother and a lot faster. Because since I'm starting a new job, I won't have as much time to record videos anymore, and this will help me be able to progress this world in a reasonable pace. But let's talk a little more about the build itself. So I like to use a lot of yellow glass panes type for a lot of my builds, just because it kind of adds this like element of that the interior is lit up. I know a lot of Instagram builders and like other, maybe not other YouTubers, but a lot of Instagram builders, they'll use this technique where they put frog lights or copper bulbs, lit up copper bulbs in the window, and that will simulate kind of light inside the build. But when you're kind of playing survival, sometimes you want to look out the window. because who wouldn't want to look at this view right here? You can see who's coming through to the Dwarven Mine, or the Dwarven Shack. So I do want to keep these little elements here. For things like the top of the build though, I could just add frog lights or like just some glowing blocks, because the top part is just a facade. There's really nothing coming out of it. But this darkness spot right here is supposed to mimic like, oh, the rail goes a lot further. So past this building right here, past this Dwarven Shack, you got more mine all the way down there, which I'm not actually going to mine out. I'm just going to leave it with black wool to mimic that. And then here, I think I might bring 2 other villagers here and just have them breed in here and have it be a little villager breeder spot for the meantime. That way I can kind of just have them breed there and then drag them all over here and trade with them. So the main thing that I want with these stonemasons is I want bricks, and then I want the final trade for them, which is terracotta. I want all the different terracotta colors and the glazed terracotta, just to make, you know, gathering resources a little easier, because the closest Badlands is quite far away. So being able to trade them in the spot right here is gonna expedite, you know, the building process, and also gives me, you know, new materials to build with. Well, that's all the time we have for today's episode. If you enjoyed the episode, please do leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And I'm also building a Discord channel, so if you'd like to join, feel free, and you can share your builds and world build with me. My name's Shohei, and this is Minecraft Worldbuilding. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye for now.